I'll go to bed at 6 a.m. and I'll wake up 1 minute before that at 5:59, minus 1 minute sleep. That's what I do.
You've made no progress. None.
Get back to fucking work.
Stop. I don't know who needs to hear this, but this mindset will not make you successful. Over the past 3 years, I've started multiple businesses and all of them failed. I don't know why, because I thought I had to be angry and grinding all the time, work 16 hours a day. Your competition's getting ahead. Stop being a little bit. These angry thoughts filled my mind all day long. I remember being out at dinners with my family, but I was never really there. The only thing on my mind was the business that I was working on at the time and nothing else. While a certain level of obsession is needed for success, you need to stop hating yourself for not working 24/7. This angry hustle mindset will only set you back, and I'm going to convince you to stop thinking this way. I want you to think of someone who's achieved your goals or dream level of success. Let's say your dream is to be a podcaster, and your goal is to be on the same level as Joe Rogan. Look at Joe Rogan. Does he look like he's angry, hustling 24/7, just thinking how to grow the podcast? No, not at all. In fact, he's incredibly chill and relaxed every time we see him. Of course, to have the biggest podcast in the world, you have to work very hard. But it looks like he's just having fun. He's so successful, and he makes it look so effortless. Why is this? Well, there are two types of goals that people have. I call them front-facing goals and back-facing goals. Think of front-facing goals as things you do in the public eye. These are things like public speaking, content creation, talking with clients, and even finding a partner. Joe Rogan's podcast is a great example of a front-facing goal. Back-facing goals are things that you're able to do on your own without much interaction with others. These are things like coding, investing, writing, or working out. You don't really have to talk to people or deal with others at all. It's mostly solo. Now, let's look at these two types of goals and see what the outcome is when you approach it with an angry, work 24/7 type of mindset. For the front-facing goal, let's say you want to be a YouTuber. You go, watch a David Gagan type video, get all motivated, then script, film and edit for 15 hours a day, every single day. You're doing all this hard work, but how do you think people watching your videos are going to perceive you? You're putting in the reps on your end, but the product, a sleep-deprived, on edge, negative energy person talking on camera. No one wants to watch that. Now imagine if you got 8 hours of sleep, spent the morning playing basketball with friends, then sat down to film your video. By default, you're going to be more positive, have more energy, and as a result, see more channel growth. Just answer the question. Who the fuck wants to do business with someone who's subtly angry all the time? No one. I don't care how good you think you are at shutting off your work mode mind. Humans are very good at reading subtle cues like body language and micro-expressions, and this is especially true in things like public speaking, dealing with clients, or making friends. And if you still don't believe me, look at the king of this never stop working until you're successful mindset, Andrew Tate. While he preaches to everyone to work 24/7 and how he's always on his laptop doing work, watch any one of his Tate Confidential episodes. What's he doing? Driving fast cars, traveling with friends, and doing dumb challenges. Even if he is technically working, he's smiling and joking around the whole time. He's chill, having fun with what he does. He's not angry 24/7, sitting in a corner crying away. But you may still be wondering, what about back-facing goals? If it's just me in a room, working alone, there should be no effect. You're forgetting one key person, you. To understand why this hustle 24/7 mindset doesn't work for back-facing goals, let's look at what the research says. One of the most famous psychology studies was Pavlov's dog experiment. In this experiment, Pavlov trained dogs to associate the sound of a bell with food. Every time the dogs heard the bell, they'd start salivating, even if there was no food in sight. Why? Because they'd mentally linked the sound of a bell to the reward. Now, imagine you're in that scenario, but instead of a bell and food, it's your work in a negative, angry mindset. Every time you force yourself to sit down and work, you're mentally conditioning yourself to feel stressed out, annoyed, and downright pissed off. This creates a negative association with the work itself. Your brain links the tasks with frustration and exhaustion. So what's the outcome? When work is always connected to these harsh emotions, you become less motivated, less creative, and more likely to burn out. And the worst part, even if you try to take a break or try to relax, your brain stays in this anxious, on-edge state because it's been trained to associate taking a break with you being lazy. And if you're watching this video, I can almost guarantee that you know the feeling. When you're sitting there, knowing that you should be working, but work just feels so painful to get started on. But you also feel pain just sitting there and not working. It puts you in this weird state of limbo, where you feel angry when working and guilty when not working. So, what's the solution here? Well, simply approach work with a more casual, fun mindset. Look at my YouTube channel. I'd say it's decently successful. Right now, I'm sitting in a coffee shop in Manhattan, house music playing in my AirPods, drinking a Celsius. I'm having a great time right now. And while I am technically working, it's super chill and fun for me. Start adding hobbies to your life. Hang out with family and friends. Go to those fun events that you usually skip. Of course, schedule long enough hours for you to actually get work done. But make sure you're not just being a robot. Especially for those front-facing goals, you cannot expect to have no hobbies, work 16 hours a day, then go and speak to people. If you're trying to pitch to an investor or close a client, you have to be able to talk about normal things out in the real world. Talking to people isn't just about knowing how to speak, it's about having experiences to talk about. And for back-facing goals, do not say how strong your mind is and the negativity is good for you. If you ever feel resistance against working, your brain already has negative associations tied with work. Think of the most successful people that you admire. They all have one thing in common. They're all pretty chill. They know when to push, but they also know when to laugh, smile, and enjoy life. So try letting go of the idea that you're not doing enough every time you're not grinding. Instead, focus on building a routine you enjoy, one that lets you live fully, not just as a work robot. And listen, I get it. There's a lot of pressure out there. Social media shows us these unrealistic hustle lifestyles, making us feel like we're falling behind if we're not working every single second. But in reality, real success looks a lot more balanced. Intentional work mixed with moments of genuine relaxation and joy. It's about knowing when to go all in and knowing when to step back. So here's my final challenge for you. For the next week, build a routine that includes work and play and see how you feel. See if you're more motivated, more creative, and ultimately closer to your goals than ever before. Embrace the process, stay consistent, and most importantly, enjoy the ride. Be wise. Stay Putinized. You will never hear my voice again if you have not subscribed to Brave Minds on YouTube. But if you do, congratulations. You are growing every day.